So here we have it, new unseen footage, new leaked footage of the shooter literally just walking around before he goes to literally try to take out Trump's life. It's the craziest thing. And this is where my frustration came from, where I was stating, what was the Secret Service doing? Okay, these people are supposed to be paid professionals. These people are supposed to be people who Trump can count on and can trust his life with. All right, and here they are just failing him. And another thing, I also addressed the DEI director. They're also trying to have a resignation for her or something like that. Pretty much just remove her from her position. Okay, which I think is rightfully so, quite frankly. Of course, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but you know, if it wasn't because of her that Trump has his life. It was because of the grace of God, if you really want to take it there, and just that alone, quite frankly. How 2 bullets barely missed his head, his brain. Okay, so this is my whole comment. Where was the Secret Service at? What were they doing? How do you have these paid snipers? They literally do this. They do this stuff for a living. Okay, and this kid, this amateur kid, just jumps up on top of a roof with some rifle and literally is this close to deleting our 47th president. So that was where my mind was at, and I was just fed up with it. I was really just fed up with it. But guys, if you're new here, welcome to the King Squad. Definitely be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to share these videos. Really helps the channel get out there so more people can be exposed to the truth. And shout out to everybody who's a channel member. I hope everyone's having a great and prosperous day. And let's get right into it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright guys, so the video title and the thumbnail pretty much says it all. We got a lot more details dropping surrounding the shooting, this attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. And yup, pretty much as expected, the more information that drops, the worse it looks for Alejandro Mayorkas and his incompetent DEI hire, Kim Cheadle. Obviously today is no different. Once again, I am calling on Kim Cheadle to resign from her position. Let me show you guys all the new video footage, and of course, more importantly, exactly what it tells us. I got some crazy updates to share with you guys. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so as per usual, we're getting that slow drip of information, and more importantly, we're getting that slow drip of video footage. It always works this way. A big event happens, and then slowly over the next couple of weeks, more and more cell phone camera footage will start to drop. Here's the latest exclusive drop from DC Drano. New exclusive video shows the shooter walking around by himself, looking up at rooftops near Trump, and the question that DC Drano is asking is, how was he not detained, especially after getting caught with a rangefinder? Take a look.
Tonight, we're learning that the gunman was on law enforcement's radar for 3 hours, and the Secret Service designated Crooks a threat 10 minutes before Trump took the stage. Crooks first aroused suspicion at around 3 on Saturday when security saw him with a rangefinder passing through the metal detectors. Police say they had an eye on him until he disappeared. Crooks was later spotted for a second time, this time by a sniper looking up.
I mean, I expect Biden to fall asleep, not the Secret Service. That's where I'm at.
The roof, observing the building that he scaled and shot from. This was radioed into the command center. At one point, a sniper saw Crooks sit down and start scrolling through his phone. And investigators believe he may have actually had 2 phones. More on that later. This is when Crooks looked so suspicious that a local sniper team took this picture of him an hour before he opened fire. All of this information was being sent to the Secret Service command team at the rally.
We're gonna revert right back to that same word. Again, unbelievable. The perp was caught on footage canvassing the area, just casually walking around, not in the general rally-goer confines, but sneaking around the back buildings and scoping the area, doing what seems to be a reconnaissance survey. And again, the question I think everybody's asking themselves when they see this kind of footage is how? How was this guy allowed to roam around like that? It makes no frickin' sense, especially considering this footage was taken 1 hour before Trump was shot at, meaning this guy was walking around for an hour, possibly even longer, and not a single person intervened. And it gets even worse when you consider the fact that he was spotted on the roof, he was spotted snooping around, and he was even spotted with a rangefinder at one point, calculating the exact distance from the rooftop to where Trump was standing on the stage at the podium. I mean, just think about it, put it into perspective. The Secret Service and police department had one frickin' job: to stop, apprehend, and interrogate anybody suspicious, and especially anybody traveling outside the general areas doing some highly suspicious weird stuff. They had that frickin' job, and instead they just watched the kid, didn't secure the perimeter at all, just willy-nilly, nonchalant, not a care in the world. It simply doesn't make sense. In fact, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. We've got some more information to get into. Previously, I showed you guys this picture right over here. I made mention of these little connecting structures between the two buildings, and how the perpetrator scaled up a ladder at one of those spots, gaining access to the roof initially. The photos that were circulating were relatively low resolution, and what was being reported was that those ladders were essentially already there, they were affixed. Well, now we've got an update, and again, it's totally unbelievable. Apparently, the perpetrator brought that ladder and placed it there. Just bear with me for a second. So, supposedly, this was the ladder that he picked up at Home Depot, a 10-foot step ladder. The current report is that the perpetrator took his van to Home Depot. This right here is the perpetrator's van, by the way, that was recently seized by the FBI. So he took this van, drove to Home Depot, bought this 10-foot step ladder, and then again, bear with me, he then carried said ladder from Home Depot all the way to Butler Farm Show Incorporated, walking all the way through the forest more than a mile in distance, carrying a massive ladder, an AR-15, and a bunch of ammunition. My mind is completely blown. Essentially, you had a 20-year-old kid carrying a rifle and a giant ladder, and he was simply allowed to walk in, set up his gear, scan the perimeter, gain access to the top of the building. He was spotted multiple times, and he was able to do all of this without a care in the world. Can somebody...
Absolutely ridiculous. I just have to interject because I don't know about you, but I was really just frustrated with that. How do you let this scrawny little kid with a ladder and a rifle just sneak past security? And then on top of that, this is something I was going to save it for the end of the video, but I just have to say it now because I don't want it to like slip my mind as I'm talking. But they said that the Secret Service took a photo an hour before he tries to assassinate Trump. In my mind, I'm like, they're shooting the wrong shots. You out here taking photos of the guy. Hey, he's shooting photo. The Secret Service is shooting a photo of the shooter when they're supposed to shoot the shooter. Not take a picture of him, put down the pictures and pick up the guns. I'm just saying. I mean, this is what you get paid to do. You're not paid to be a photographer. What are you doing? Hey, we got him in our scopes. Get him. Like, it's just, I just don't understand. And this is the thing that I don't like the most is when you need it, when in the most dire of times, when you need it to make the most sense, it makes the least amount of sense. Any other time, we got an answer for everything else, except for when we need it, except for when things like this happen and we need an answer that makes common sense. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words slightly, but you get the gist of things. Every other time we need things to make sense, it makes it. Wait, how do I say this? All right, I'm saying that when we need this to make sense, it doesn't make sense. But any other time, whenever we don't really pay things too much attention, everything else makes sense. But in these types of moments, this is when everybody wants to forget how to speak English and everybody wants to have dementia all of a sudden and try to, wait, what happened? Huh? Who, what, where am I? What is going on? I just had to get that out really quick. I didn't want that to slip my mind.
Somebody please explain how that makes sense. How could a 20-year-old kid pull this off? One exhausted 20-year-old kid who supposedly walked over a mile with a giant freaking metal ladder. How on God's green earth did he manage to pull this off with the amount of law enforcement and Secret Service agents present during that day? Who made the calls here? We need answers to everything. James Comer recently subpoenaed Kim Cheadle, so that's of course a good thing, because we need thorough thorough explanations and quick. We need to know exactly who made the calls. Who made the call to have all of these police officers and all of these Secret Service agents positioned on the complete other side of the perimeter when the clear and most obvious high priority threat was that factory building on Trump's right side? You know, again, the question that I keep asking myself is, why was that part of the venue not secured? Why was that building not completely surrounded by law enforcement and Secret Service agents? Take a look at this clip.
Hit it like you mean it.
Why were so many police officers on the opposite side of the fence and didn't even have access to the building? They had to bring a pickup truck to ram down the fence in order to gain access to the building side of the property. Who made the decision for the security perimeter and personnel layout? We need answers, because very simply, what we are seeing is unacceptable and of course totally unbelievable. It's either gross incompetence or malice and conspiracy. Kim Cheadle, Alejandro Mayorkas, Joe Biden, and of course the mainstream media at large, they don't want you asking any questions. Never question the official narrative. But having been exposed to everything we've seen over the last couple of days, how is it possible not to question everything? When absolutely nothing makes sense, when 2 + 2 is 5, you're left with no other choice but to question the official narrative. That's the rational thing to do right now. We're looking at a Swiss cheese story. There's all kinds of holes everywhere. The government better come in and patch up every single hole with very logical explanations, or we're going to continue to see a steady erosion in trust in the legal system. You know, if they come out and say that 5-degree angled sloped roofs are too dangerous for Secret Service agents to climb, that's not a legitimate or acceptable explanation. If they tell us that what happened was they implemented the Pac-Man perimeter strategy tactic, you know, where you secure a perimeter in the shape of a Pac-Man, this little pizza-shaped cutout for the mouth right over here, placed perfectly right at the factory building, if they come out and tell us that that's the newest and latest and next-gen Secret Service presidential protection strategy, you know, again, no one's gonna buy it. They need a legitimate explanation, and frankly, we need to know exactly who made these calls, who made the personnel positioning decisions. There better be a good explanation for every single little thing that happened that day. But honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to do it, because how can you possibly justify or explain any of this? A 20-year-old walking around with a bulletproof vest, a rangefinder, a giant freaking ladder, multiple fully loaded magazines. Supposedly, he had over 100 rounds on him. How could they have let him through, and how did they spot him so early, and yet they took no action? But rather, the current report is that they spotted him acting suspiciously with a rangefinder and said, well, we need to keep an eye on this guy. Keep an eye on him. The moment they were suspicious, they should have detained him. They should have secured the area. How do you explain this level of incompetence? I simply don't know, but I guess we'll have to see. So
first things first, I just want to say this. Whoever looked at this and came up with the battle plans just needs to be fired completely. I'm gonna just say that right now. Let's get rid of the problem at the root. All right. Whoever said this is how we're gonna protect Trump completely failed. Bro, y'all let the 47th president get a chunk of his ear taken out. I don't want to hear it. Second of all, on top of that, what was going through? Like, were the police in Candyland? Like, what happened? Like, they're just like, you just let this kid walk around with a bunch of rounds on him and a bulletproof vest. Like, what did you think he was gonna do? He's gonna play paintball, BB guns? No, he's not security. What is he doing? This is not the time to prove the whole thing is just a giant conundrum, and it's just a mess. So it's just, like I said, it's just ridiculous, and the incompetence is astronomical. This stuff is really just disgusting, and it's really pathetic, and I'm really just blown away at how this even happened, as everyone else is. And then I wasn't going to mention this, but I'm going to mention it now. The amount of people that this is kind of like slightly off topic, but still on topic. But the amount of people really on the left that were pissed off at the guy for missing. Oh my gosh. At that point, I was like, leave the country for all that. How do you like the country in the current state it's in? Okay, you like being able to not ever purchase a home and in high rents and groceries the size of car notes. I guess you like 3 car notes a month. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. I guess let me stop. Oh man, I gotta be careful what I say on the platform. But that is that. So really just absurd and unbelievable, man. Just completely unbelievable. And, I think about Trump in the sense of, Trump woke up that morning, said he's going to just blow this rally out the park. And then, boom, somebody just, he goes to sleep, after somebody just took a chunk of his ear out. That's just crazy to me. That is just absolutely crazy to me. Shout out to Trump, man. Seriously, he's a trooper, especially. And then after that, still proceeding to go to the RNC convention. Straight trooper. So my respect for him is through the roof. And that's that. So that's my own thoughts on it. Really just disgusted with the Secret Service, quite frankly. And, to everybody's got their own opinions. Not everybody will agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But I think we can all have a meeting of the minds when we say that this is unacceptable, okay? Because at the end of the day, you still got to think long term in a sense of, if Trump isn't even the president yet here, he's just a nominee. So I think that's another huge factor that he's like, I think he's the first president to be a nominee. Well, he's not the president yet, but he's the first nominee to get shot at. And have an assassination placed on him, which is insane. But on top of that, he still got to run for 4 years with, now. And this is how he's starting off his, his introduction. Not introduction. It's an I word, but it slipped my mind. Anywho, this is how he starts off his presidency, is what I'm saying. Invitation. I was thinking the word invitation. This is his invitation to the presidency. Hey, congratulations, Mr. President. Bow. What? That's just insane to me. So that's my thoughts on it, guys. Definitely be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who watched this video all the way through. Thank you to everyone who left a positive comment, who shares these videos. Shout out to all the channel members. If you're not a channel member, definitely it's, welcome to the King Squad. If you want to support, that's a way to support. I greatly appreciate everyone's support at that. Thank you to everyone who keeps me updated, everyone who donates. You guys are the bomb.com, and I hope everyone continues to have a great and prosperous day. And drink some water, go make some money legally, of course, and take a walk in nature, enjoy God's creation and all that great stuff. Stay blessed, stay prosperous. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.